See what happens. All right. Thank you, Beatrice.
Okay.
Oscar. Okay. So we're doing the Prasangika school, and we did the definition of Prasangika school, right? And I think okay, so we did the etymology of Prasangika school, why Prasangika is called the consequentialist. And now we're doing the exposition of Prasangika school. Okay, so going to the assertion on the basis, which has two parts, object, assertion on the object and subject, right? So assertion on the object, okay, so basically we touched upon manifest and hidden phenomena. Okay, so okay, if you noticed, if you compared, we have already done these two types of phenomena earlier. And if you paid heed to the definitions, then you can see there's a slight difference between the definition given by Sautantrika school and the definition given by Prasangika school. All right, so here it says, which can be cognized through the power of experience. Why power of experience is because Prasangika believes in 100% subjectivity, right? So Prasangika rejects all degrees of objectivity. They say there's 100% subjectivity, there's nothing from the object side. Whereas Swatantrika school, they believe in objectivity, they believe in objective existence. So, which is why the way they understand the phenomena, like manifest phenomena, hidden phenomena, there's a slight difference. Okay, so we did the two definitions, and okay, now going to the two truths. So we must remember, after Buddha attained enlightenment, Buddha remained silent for 49 days. So why do you think Buddha did not give teachings for 49 days? Anybody?
Because he thought never, no one can understand what I found.
Yes.
So what's the point? I cannot explain that. It's not explainable. So I remain in silence.
Yes.
Said.
So one reason why it's said that Buddha remained silent for 49 days is what he found, the truth that he found or discovered. So one thing, again, the word discovered. He did not create a truth. He discovered the truth, which means truth is always there. Even before Buddha came, truth has been there, right? And he, as an ordinary being, he went through these study, reflection, and meditation, and finally discovered the truth. So upon discovering this very subtle reality, okay, so the highest intent of the Buddha. So we studied Buddhist tenet system in 4 different schools, where Bhashika, Sautantrika, Chittamatra, and Madhyamika. So within Madhyamika, there are again 2 schools, Swatantrika Madhyamika and Prasangika Madhyamika. So Prasangika Madhyamika, the view of Prasangika Madhyamika is believed to be the most the subtlest of all the teachings of the Buddha. And that is, so this view, the Prasangika view, is believed to be the final intent of the Buddha. The final intent in the sense, okay, so if you, okay, it's like for all of us, we are first sent to school, right? We're first sent to school and then high school, then you go to college, then masters, then PhDs, postdoctoral. So there's a sequence, grade. There's grade wise, right? You cannot expect a high school young boy or girl to directly understand what is taught in the PhD. Okay, there are exceptions. There are always exceptions. So overall speaking, in the general sense, you cannot expect a high school student to understand what is taught in the what is studied by the PhD scholars. So therefore you need to go, you need to go by steps. Likewise, Buddhist tenet system is very similar to that. So first you study the Vaibhashika school, which is very much in line with the ordinary world's thinking. So Vaibhashika, they completely depend on the Buddha's words, right? So they say whatever is Buddha said, that is the truth. So they don't give too much uh, explanations, right? So they understand the Buddha's teachings as it is. And then comes Swatantrika school. So Swatantrika school is the first school which introduces us to the concept of mental imputation. Okay, if you all, I don't know if you all remember the conventional truth, definition for conventional truth according to Swatantrika school, the second school. Okay, is there anyone who has all these notes ready, or you have the definition mugged up? Is there anyone who can tell me what is the definition for conventional truth according to Swatantrika school, or just in your own words, if you could explain? Yes. Okay. Okay. So basically, what Swatantrika school says, everything that comes about through mental imputation, they are considered as conventional truths, right? So that is their understanding of conventional truth. So this is the first time, like Swatantrika school, for the first time, they introduce us to concept of things existing through mental imputation. So of the two truths, conventional truth is, according to Swatantrika school, whatever is mentally imputed, those are all conventional truths, according to Swatantrika school. Okay, let me just, even I don't know it by heart. Let me just read out the definition for Swatantrika school. Okay, so what they say is, the definition of conventional truth according to Swatantrika school, a phenomena which exists through mere imputation by thoughts. It's just one line. So a phenomena which exists through mere imputation by thoughts. So whatever is just merely imputed by the thoughts, those are conventional truth according to Swatantrika school. And ultimate truth according to Swatantrika school, a phenomenon which from one's own side sustains the analysis of wisdom, which means they're talking about objectivity, substantial. Mental imputation versus substance, substantial existence, right? So for example, let's say, okay, so anyway, the idea is Swatantrika school is the first school which introduces us to something called something coming into existence through mental imputation, right? And then we go on to Chittamatra school. Chittamatra school
And the
also,
ultimate truth, a phenomena which from one's own side sustain the reality. So like just
sustains the analysis of wisdom.
okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
basically, what
yeah.
they're talking about is anything which has substance, that is ultimate truth, according to Swatantrika school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Substance which can undergo change,
Hmm.
right? So substantial existence versus mental imputation. These things we need to know. Okay, then we come to Chittamatra school, then Swatantrika Madhyamaka school. So these schools are briefly touched upon. And now ultimately Prasangika view is the most profound and the ultimate view of the Buddha, the ultimate intent of the Buddha, which is so profound that okay, we can talk about it, but to really, I've said this many times earlier, to really say that okay, I got this, I got the ultimate truth, I got the conventional truth according to Prasangika, may be a little difficult, right? Just theoretically, we may say, okay, I've got something, right? But we'll anyhow, I'll try to attempt. Okay. Okay, so Buddha remained silent for 49 days because what Buddha discovered was so profound. In fact, in one of the sutras, it says profound. Okay, so what Buddha found is
Profound,
so profound.
profound, and not elaborated.
Yeah,
Is the truth? Is
yes, cannot be
the truth?
elaborated.
Yeah,
Such is the
something
nectar
like
like
that.
dharma Buddha discovered, which is
Yeah.
why he said, I will retire into the woods. I will not
Mm.
teach because the concept is too profound and there's nobody who can fathom this teaching. So this is what Buddha said. And then after 49 days of Buddha remaining silent, then all the higher god and goddesses, Brahmas, Indras, they having the so there were signs when Buddha became enlightened. There were physical, outward external signs that there's an enlightened being around. So these beings, they came and requested Buddha to teach, and that's how Buddha turned the first wheel of dharma, right? So prasangika view was taught during the second turning of the wheel of dharma, where the heart sutra was taught, right? So this prasangika school was taught during the third turning of the wheel of dharma.
And is the Heart Sutra written by Kumar Jiva?
No, the heart sutra was taught by Buddha.
And written by
What do you mean by written by?
the Heart Sutra book, actually scripture,
Mhm.
that was written by.
So basically, Heart Sutra is a sutra, right? Whenever you hear the term sutra, it automatically means it's the words of the Buddha.
Yeah.
So somebody jotting it down, that I don't have a record. I don't know. I mean, there may be some record, but again,
Oh,
I'm sure there are different views on it. Somebody wrote, and the other. So historically speaking, there are different views, even pertaining to the birthday or the year, birth year. Forget about the birthday, the birth year of the Buddha. There's also again a huge, there's a gap of 100 years. Some scholars say this, some scholars say that. So that's like a long time ago, right? So do you know, Sangamitraji, do you know of the person who wrote the Heart Sutra? I mean, of course, it was.
actually, it is in both the language, Chinese and Sanskrit, and maybe it's from India, Kumar Jiva, Acharya Kumar Jiva, written by.
Okay.
Ma'am, actually, this sutra is very famous in China, and Kumar Jiva was the first one who who translated it from Sanskrit to Chinese.
Okay. Translations, yes, there may be people who translated them.
Yeah, but the Sanskrit is not found today. After the destruction of Nalanda,
Mhm.
it has lost. But the Chinese translation is available
Okay.
till date.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. All right. So, second turning of the wheel of Dharma, Heart Sutra was taught, right? Okay. So, okay. Now I have
And
a question. Yeah.
Prasangika in the third
No.
turning
Sorry.
of the
Second turning.
pras, okay.
Third
Prasangika
turn.
Madhyamika also.
Prasangika Madhyamika.
Okay.
Second turning. Third turning,
Okay.
Chittamatra school was taught.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Now I have a question for you all. Okay. So, what do you understand by subjectivity?
What is coming from the mind?
What comes from the mind
From the mind.
is subjectivity, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now can you all give me some examples of subjectivity, which is coming purely from the mind?
Dream,
Yes, dream.
Beauty.
Imagination.
Imagination, yes.
Beauty.
Beauty,
Yes.
yes. Beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder, right?
Yes.
Memories.
Memory.
Memories, yes. Okay. What about the others?
Feelings.
Feelings. Okay. Feelings. Okay. So what is feelings? What is felt? Actually, this is a very important thing to, if we understand, or if we gain the conviction that feelings are nothing but subjective, then a lot of our mental agitation or pain will go away, right? So if you remember the 5 omnipresent mental factors, the omnipresent mental factor of feeling, the first is contact, feeling, discrimination, and attention, and intention. So of the 5, the second, or one of the 5, which is feeling, if we know this feeling is only subjectively, purely subjective, so what happens? Our pain, feeling of, let's say feeling of pain comes, one of the reasons feeling of pain arises is because of attachment. Attachment to what? Attachment to something, right? Let's say mostly it's attachment to, let's say, other human beings, family, or your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, all these things. And we feel that this feeling of pain is coming because of this external object, right? But when you start realizing that this pain is actually the feeling, one of the 5 omnipresent mental factors, this feeling, which is purely subjective, then we are in full control. Then we know it's the other external object, whoever, or let's say even objects. Let's say I have a diamond necklace, which I lost, right? I lost the diamond necklace, and that creates a lot of pain in me. So that pain which is coming, which is feeling, is purely subjective. Subjective means coming from the mind. So that if we realize that, then the object cannot do anything to us, right? Then we are in full control of, now we need to navigate how to control this feeling, because this feeling is purely subjective. It's not coming because of something outside your mind, right? So these are technicalities of, okay, now Buddhist Tenet system and Buddhist psychology combined together, right? We can solve our mental pain, how to tackle our emotions. So these subjects, why they're important is because they give us some insight into the workings of our emotions. So our emotions, okay, like Majid said, feelings are subjective. Okay, so my question is, what are the examples of things or which are purely subjective, right? And feeling is what is felt, is purely subjective. Okay, so one of the examples is, let's say, uh, okay, so let's say I'm in Ladakh. Now here the minimum temperature is these days minus 16, 17, right? Minimum temperature, minimum, late at night or early morning. And so here for me, if I go to Delhi, where I heard, I think the coldest winter recorded this year, that's what I heard from somebody. And it was -3, which is very cold for Delhi, right? So if I go to Delhi, for me, +3 is not cold, not as cold as minus being in -17. So the feeling differs. For somebody in Delhi may say that I have this very painful feeling of feeling cold. Because of the cold, I have this pain. But for me, landing in Delhi, there'll be a relief, sense of relief. Oh, so warm, right? So the feeling is not dependent on the external object. Feeling depends on the internal, the mind, right? So feeling is purely subjective. Okay. Any other examples? Okay, so there are many examples. Let's all of us, let's give one example each, right? Yes. Okay, so far we had, okay, so Beatrice said beauty. Madhuji said, Madhuji said
Memories.
memories. And who was it? Rigzinla said imagination.
Yes, ma'am.
Imagination, feelings, and someone said
Ma'am, dream.
dreams.
Rita.
Yeah, Rita said dreams. Okay, what about the rest of you? Okay, let's look for 4 more. Yes, Padmala.
Ma'am, thoughts.
Thoughts, yes. Thoughts are purely subjective. Yes. Okay. Rigzinamala, can you hear me, Rigzinamala? Okay, I think her network is really bad. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you now. But I don't know what's the question is because I just joined right now.
Okay, so my question is, give me an example of something coming about purely through subjectivity. And many examples are given, right? Memories, thoughts, and dreams. These are all coming purely from mind.
Okay, ma'am,
Sorry?
pleasure.
Okay, pleasure. Okay, pleasure is a kind of a feeling, is a type of a feeling, which Majid also gave the example. Feeling, yes. Okay. Okay, Tsin Rokala, are you there? Sangamitra ji, can you give me an example?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. One example
Ma'am,
each.
uh, by seeing the object, like if someone, uh, if someone, uh, if anger, can we say anger?
Yes, yes, of course. Okay, now
By
anger,
seeing the
pleasure, these are all mental factors. Remember,
emotions.
yes, Buddhist psychology. Don't forget what we studied in Buddhist psychology, right? So when Majid said feelings, okay, feeling is one, and then mental factor of, okay, so anger comes as one of the root afflictions, 6 root afflictions, right? Okay, so, okay, mental factor of anger, then pleasure, or let's say the pleasant feeling. Again, feelings are of 3 types: feeling of pain, pleasure, feeling of aversion, right? And neutral feeling. So these all come under feelings, emotions. Okay. Okay, Sangamitra ji. So these are all purely subjective. Sorry?
Experience.
Okay, so experience.
What I am experiencing.
Okay,
What I am experiencing.
okay, that's very profound. Okay, so experience is mental, of course. What is experience is only done by the mind. What is experienced, what is felt, these are all done by the mind. But within experience, the object is also included. Now we need to make a distinction, right? Okay, when you say experience, I had a very beautiful experience of, how do you say, let's say I went on, I did paragliding. Let's say I had a beautiful experience. So there is object involved, right? You are doing paragliding where you're sitting with a glider, the person, the pilot. So there is object involved, but the experience, what is felt, is done by the mind. So whenever you say the object, you have to see in terms of subject and object, right? So what is the object of your experience? Paragliding. So what is experienced is happiness, right? Joy. Okay, experience is also mental. Okay, what about magic? Magic is purely subjective. Do you all agree? Have you all seen magic shows? I think that's purely subjective. out there, there's no such thing as magic, but how you see it, it's so magical. Like we are completely blown, you know.
Hypnotized.
Yes.
We are hypnotized.
Yes. So magic is a very good example. Okay. And then mirage, right? Mirage is purely subjective. Okay. So once we understand what is subjectivity, something coming from the mind, purely coming from the mind, right? Okay. Okay. Now I have next question, another question. All right. So going back to the dream analogy, now Prasangika view, what Prasangika school says is everything comes about 100% from the subject, nothing from the object. This is what demarcates Prasangika view and Swatantrika view, Swatantrika Madhyamika view. So Swatantrika Madhyamika, as I mentioned earlier, they believe in 50% subjectivity, 50% objectivity, right? Both subject object, 50% each. Whereas Prasangika, they reject all degrees of objectivity. They say everything is coming purely from the mind, mentally imputed, 100%. Okay. Now going back to the dream analogy. So when you are in the dream, right? Okay. Okay, now let's just remember the dream analogy. And now let's say dream and dream like. So Prasangika says, okay, you can jot it down. Prasangika, they say everything is dream like. Everything is dream like. They don't say everything is dream. They say everything is dream like. There's a huge difference between the two. Okay, so what happens is most of the times, okay, let's say in a very, sometimes what happens, okay, we hear people say this world is an illusion, right? And then we all say, yes, the world is an illusion. The world is not an illusion, the world is illusion like. So within, amongst our friends, we may say such things. The world is an illusion, and everybody will be like, it's very true, everything is illusion. But that is a very wrong understanding of the of the phenomena of the world. The world is not an illusion, the world is not a dream, the world is illusion like or dream like. Okay, now the next question, what is the difference between dream and dream like? What do you think is the difference between dream and dream like? Yes, Madhuri.
Ma'am, when we say a dream, there is no object in the dream.
There is object in the dream. The
but
ghost.
You can't touch it. But you can't touch it.
No, in the dream, when you're in the dream, you can touch it. You even feel it. So in the dream
is purely subjective, I believe. Dream has no object. Dream is purely subjective. But when you say dream like, there is an object involved. With the touch and feel factor is there.
Okay, okay. So when, okay, dream, so you're talking about dream upon waking up, right? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So,
I mean, if I'm talking about my dream right now, there is no object in the dream because I'm just talking about a dream which is already over. It was a virtual thing for me.
Okay, okay.
It
So
has
dream
happened.
which is over. Okay.
Yes, which is
So
over.
there's no object, whereas dream like there is an object. Very nice. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, what about the others?
A dream is an imagination. Is something that I imagine in my mind. And a dream like is not. It seems is something that you can look like an imagination, but it's not an imagination because it's really had a conventional a conventionality.
Okay, so while people are giving the answers, we must just note the terms, right? So Madhuji said there's an object in dreamlike, and in dream there's no object to be found. Upon analyzing,
Yes.
no object to be found.
Upon
And
release, no object is found.
Beatrice said dream is completely coming from the mind, whereas the dreamlike, there is conventionality, right? So these terms we need to keep in mind. Okay, what about the others? Yes. Any differences?
Maybe also the difference in distance.
Distance.
Yeah, in dream, between we and our dream, there must be some distance. But dream like there is no distance between that object and me or us.
Dreamlike, there's no distance.
No
Of course, there is distance.
distance.
Okay, so Prasangika would say this pen is dreamlike. This pen is not dream. This pen is dreamlike. So there is a distance between me and this pen.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, what about others? Yes, Majid?
Ma'am, dream is a noun.
Dream is?
A noun, it describes a particular thing, a dream. Whereas dream-like is, it is about quality. You're describing quality of something.
Okay, now Majid is talking like a linguist, explaining philosophy with linguistic approach. Okay.
And maybe he's telling that dreamlike has a form. Dreamlike has a
This
form.
dream-like is like a, for example, it is an adjective.
Adjective.
Like beautiful.
Dream is
or
a noun.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. That is what I want to say.
Okay, that is very interesting.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, what about the others?
Ma'am, for me, dream is like it's like a, it's not real, and but dream like is the thing which I can see. It's kind of an object which I can like. It's kind of an object, dream like.
Okay, so dream like has an object. That's what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, like Madhuji. Okay, very nice. So, okay, when you try to explore, though I haven't really touched on what is dream like. So basically, dream like, everything is dream like is said by Prasangika school, right? Okay, so one of the very stark defining differences between a dream and dreamlike, okay, apart from the answers that all of you gave, is dream there is no cause effect efficacy in the dream, and outside the dream like you always find the law of cause effect working, or the efficacy of cause effect relationship. So this is one thing very important. So in the dream, okay, so one time I had a dream I was being chased by a monster, right? A very huge monster. I still remember that dream. And I was constantly running. This monster was behind me, a huge monster. So what happened is I entered a room which had the iron grills, right? And the moment I closed the grills, I felt safe. I looked outside. I could see the monster still, outside the gate. And then I was relieved for a moment. And what happened is, the very next moment, this monster turned into a bird and entered through one of the holes, the openings. and started chasing me again. So there, okay, so that dream, there's no cause effect relationship. Whatever you see in the dream, it's not possible for a monster. Okay, let's say somebody, let's say, okay, dreams, they don't follow the cause effect, the law of cause effect, right? So any big monster can turn into anything, right? So there's no cause effect efficacy in the dream. Whereas out dream like, there is cause effect efficacy, like the mirage or the rainbow. So the mirage and the rainbow, though they are purely subjective, right? It's coming from the mind. But when you go there looking for it, how a rainbow is formed, how a mirage is formed, there is a law of cause effect working there, right? So last time I think it was Rajdeep, right? Rajdeep he was explaining the rainbow, how it comes about. There are many factors involved, right? The droplets and the light falling on those droplets and all these things. These are all discovered by science. So there is a law, cause effect efficacy working in the dream life, within the dream life. While in the dream, there's no cause effect efficacy. So this is a very important point. Okay, so what Prasangika school is saying is everything is dreamlike, which means this pen is there, this pen is there, this pen is existent, right? This pen is existent, but this pen is dreamlike. This is a dreamlike pen. So this is like the rainbow. When you actually go closer to look for it, where is this pen? If I ask okay, so we talked about conventional analysis and ultimate analysis. We all accept that this is a pen. That is conventional analysis. The moment I go beyond the conventional analysis, beyond convention, I step outside of the convention and I enter the domain of ultimate. When I go into ultimate analysis of this pen, what will I find? Nothing. I won't find anything, no objectivity, right? So okay, so let me explain. Okay, so conventional truth, according to Prasangika school. Okay, so the truth, this is just a very roughly speaking, conventional truth. The truth seen from the subject, like the rainbow or the mirage. Okay, for example, okay, in India, we drive on the left, right? In the West, we drive on the right. Okay, Beatrice, in your country, you're in Brazil, right?
Argentina.
Argentina, sorry. So you're in South America. There you drive on the right or left?
Left.
Okay, you drive on the left. Okay, in the US, they drive on the right, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Argentina.
No, in India, you ride on the
left.
No, then we go on the right.
Okay. All right. Okay. So these are nothing but conventions. These are made by us. These are made by us, created by us, these rules, right? And also in India, when you switch, when we switch on the light, the switch, we put it down. We switch it down, right? Yes. It goes down. But in the US, when you switch on, it goes up.
Oh, really?
It's the opposite. Yes. Right. So there are different
Here
conventions.
Also.
Here okay. So North America, South America, they're together. So they follow the same conventions. All right.
Yes.
And the other thing is, okay, again, this thing about, okay, so color, the spelling of color. Color in the US, the American English, COLOR.
OR.
Right? And British English, COLOUR. Right? So there are different conventions. These are all conventions. Both the spellings are accepted, not just spellings, there are differences in the pronunciation. In the UK English, you have a different pronunciation. In the American English, they have different pronunciation. So these are nothing but conventions. So conventions, they're coming all These things are all coming from the mind. So whatever you see, everything is coming purely from the mind. It's created by the mind, right? So these are conventional truths according to Prasangika. The truth seen from the mind, from the subject.
That is the definition. The truth seen
Okay,
from the subject.
so definition, last time I read it to you and you were you were like, remember? So the definition,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes, yes, I remember.
definition is actually very simple, but the only thing is the technical definition given in the text. When I read it out, then you may be like lost because it's a little technical. So that's why I'm trying to explain in the layman's language, right? So whatever your mind, your subject sees, these are all conventions. Like the movie on the screen, you do see it, but it's coming purely from the mind, right? But you do see something like the rainbow, the mirage. So these are all conventions. Okay. Okay, so the ultimate truth. I'll give the definitions later. Okay, so according to this school, according to Prasangika school, does this pen exist or not? This pen is dreamlike. This pen is dreamlike according to Prasangika school. Does it exist or not?
No, ma'am.
Exist.
It does
Depend.
exist.
Okay, so one by one. Okay, Rizal said no. Sangam, you can answer me in yes or no. Okay. So Sanghamitraji, what's your answer? Does it exist or not?
Yes, exist.
It does exist. Okay. What about the others? Madhuji?
It doesn't
Yes, ma'am.
exist.
It
It doesn't
ex-
exist.
Okay.
No object, 100% subject.
Okay. Rizanamala?
It exists, ma'am.
Okay. So those of you who are saying this exists, you have to give me the reason why it exists. Okay. What
It
about the
exists,
others? No, let me ask others first. Okay. Others.
okay.
Ritala,
This is
Sengokala,
getting interesting.
Majid, Beatrice, Padmala.
It exists conventionally and not ultimate.
No, yes or no.
Yeah, but that's
No, you just have to
the
say
answer.
yes or no. Does it exist? Yes or no? Or no?
But the question is tricky because
No.
exists
It's not a tricky
conventional or
question.
ultimate?
No. It's not a tricky question. It's a very direct question. According to Prasangika school, they say everything is dreamlike. This pen is also dreamlike. So does this
Yes.
pen exist?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes. Majid said yes. Beatrice,
Yes.
yes or no?
But I cannot say, okay, according to Prasangika.
Okay, so let's give Beatrice some time to think. What about the others?
Yeah.
Okay, Tsingdorkala, what would you say? Does it exist, this pen? Okay, looks like she's okay. Padmala, what do you think?
I think yes, ma'am.
Oh, you have to defend your yes, okay, with a reasoning.
I'm not
Yes?
sure, ma'am.
Okay, not sure. No, doesn't
Not sure.
matter. Okay, Sanghamitraji, you said no. Yes, I forgot. Sorry.
Yes, it
Yes, sorry.
exists.
Okay. Yeah. So how many of you said yes? Rigzinangla, Sanghamitra, Rigzinangmola, Majid. Okay, Ritala and Madhuji said no.
Yeah, no, ma'am.
I
No.
also said no, ma'am.
Yes, no.
Okay, Rigzinangla said no. Oh, yes,
Yes.
she said
Yes.
no. Okay, sorry. And Beatrice?
Yeah, if I had to choose, I would say no also.
No. Okay, fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 versus 4. And not sure. Okay.
Not sure.
Singh Dokala, are you there? Okay, anyway. Okay, so the pen. Okay, those of you, the 3 of you who said yes, give me a reason. Why do you say the pen exists? But you have to remember the pen is also dreamlike. The pen is dreamlike according to Prasangika school, and you said that pen also exists. So tell me why. Why did
Ma'am,
you say that? Yes.
it exists externality, but
So, sorry.
externally it exists,
Uh-huh.
but not ultimately.
Wow. Okay. Externally. Uh-huh. Rigznamula is becoming a philosopher. Okay. Sangamitra ji, what is your reason? Okay, Majid, what's your reason?
I think because it is seen by the subject.
Mm-hmm.
So it is there.
But then even let's say imaginary flower. Okay, let's say the tiger in this room. If I'm hallucinating, that is also seen by my mind. But that tiger in this room doesn't exist. That's non-existent. Majid, do you get my argument?
No, but
Okay, so Majid, your answer was because it is seen by the mind, right?
yes, ma'am.
So the tiger in this room, let's say I'm hallucinating, right? And I see a tiger in my room. And this tiger in my room is non-existent, but it is seen by my mind. So anything, what I'm trying to say is anything seen by the mind need not necessarily be existent. Do you get it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So that's a debate I threw at you. Now you have to convince me. Now maybe you can come up with another.
Then maybe in this case, we can see people other than me also. For them all, for persons
Okay.
other than me also.
Okay, so you're saying it can be verified by the rest of
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
people. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's just keep it.
Whereas,
Okay. Yeah, I get it.
whereas the tiger cannot.
Yes, I get it. Okay, Sangamitra ji. But Majid, again, what if all of us are hallucinating? let's say let's say you go to a psychiatric ward. So actually according to the Buddhas, for the Buddhas, we are all hallucinating because we are seeing things to exist objectively. That is non-existent. So for the Buddhas, we are all hallucinating, right? So we are in a psychiatric ward, basically.
Oh God.
Okay, this is just humor, right? I don't mean to demean the humans on this planet. All right.
And maybe because but in the, if for example, if I get 10 people who are hallucinating, if I get them to say, suppose they all see the tiger, if I now get them to describe the tiger, it will be very widely different. While as if
Okay.
all of us describe the
Yes.
pen, it will be
Same.
it will not be.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, that's a good argument. So we are going to go on and on and on in the cycle, right? With this argument, right? Okay. Sangamitra ji, are you there? What's your defense? How?
Because if we write by the pen, with the pen, then we can get something, some script or something.
Okay,
So
you
it
can
is
write.
also the part of cause and effect. Means the pen then become the cause, and the effect is the written script.
Wow.
So
Okay.
included into the cycle of cause and effect. It has become the part of cause and effect. The pain is cause, and the scripture.
Script. Okay. The letters on the paper, or That becomes the effect. Sorry. Okay. Okay, very nice. So Rigzanamula said the pen exists externally but not ultimately, right? Okay, now if you all remember, all your answers were good attempts, right? Okay, so if you all remember, I had given the definition of existence, or what is existent. Do you have it with you? Noted it down somewhere? It's a very important. In fact, I even shared about my meeting with one of the. I met
Yeah.
one physicist at
Yeah.
JNU during a conference, and I had asked him the question, right?
Existence.
So I had given a
Even
very one-line definition, short, according to Buddhism. In Buddhism, that's how existence is defined. But, okay, any one of you remember?
By direct valid perception.
Can you read the whole thing?
Verified by direct valid
I have not it, but I remember sort of it. What is perceived by direct valid perception?
Okay, that which is posited by a valid
Direct
perception. Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
that which is not necessarily direct valid perceiver, but a valid perception. It can be conceptual also. Conceptual can also be valid. Okay, Majid? Yeah.
that which is positive by a valid
Valid
mind.
mind. Yeah, that which is posited by a valid mind is existent. Now, is this pen? This pen, is it
existence.
posited by a valid mind?
Of course it is.
Yes. So valid mind is, okay, according to Prasangika, okay, Prasangika says this pen does exist, right? How? The answer that Sangamitraji gave, because of the law of cause effect. There is law of cause effect functioning, right?
Is
Right.
functional.
Also, Rigzinla said this is external, but not, this is externally there, but not ultimately existent or objectively existent. And Majid said it's coming from the mind. So these are all combining all these answers together. Okay, to be very precise, everything in the world, okay, things, functioning things, they exist. They all exist, right? At the same time, they are dreamlike, right? Why dreamlike? Because when you go closer, you will not find anything. Just like in your dream, or let's give the example of the rainbow. You see the rainbow, but when you go closer to the rainbow, you will not find anything substantial there, anything objective, right? So this is, okay, so this is very, it's not easy to imagine the conventional truth, okay, what the mind perceives. And ultimate truth is when you go closer to the object, you don't find anything, emptiness of the objective existence. When you combine these two truths together, then you can say this pen has conventional truth as well as ultimate truth. Everything in this world or this universe has the two truths. Even the Buddhas have the two truths, right? Even us, the humans, everything has two truths. This pen has two truths. The conventional truth of this pen is that this is a pen, because my mind is seeing this as a pen. It's a label, right? But beyond that, there's nothing. That's the ultimate truth. Okay, as long as you get the idea of what is conventional truth and ultimate truth, it's good enough, right? Okay, now let's go on to ultimate truth. Okay, so I'll give an example. Let's say we are all at a shore, ocean, next to an ocean, and from the ocean, let's say we found a box, a very antique box, right? And then all of us are looking at the box, and then we have our own. Okay, so one of you may say, okay, let's just imagine we see an antique box on the shore. Okay, what do you think? Now let's all imagine our own imaginations. What's inside the box? Okay, let's just say. What do you think? Okay,
According to our expectation.
yes, whatever you may impute, whatever you may think or expect inside the box. Okay, I would expect a lot of treasure. Let's see, right? Madhuji, what would you expect?
Ma'am, somebody sent letters during Second World War.
Okay, letters from the Second World War. Okay, what about the others? Yes.
A pirate treasure. Pirate. Like coins and gold things inside.
Okay.
Pile
And
of treasures.
Okay,
like a
pile of
pirate.
treasure.
Pearls.
Okay, like
Pearls.
two of us. Pearls. All right.
Pearls.
Okay. What about the rest?
Empty.
Empty.
Okay, Majid.
Because if had treasure, it will sink. It will not come to shore.
Wow. Okay. All right.
No,
Okay.
no. It can go to the shore.
Yeah.
It can
Sometimes they
go.
can. Sometimes they
Because
can.
Gatos
Yeah.
holds it.
Yes.
Because of the very high currents.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can be thrown to
It
the
can
shore.
be. Yes, of course.
Okay. Now, all right. Empty according to Majid. Okay. What about others?
A trapped spirit or a
Wow.
ghost.
Okay. A trapped spirit. Okay. Now see like how many imputations are coming. Okay. What about others? Anything else? Anything interesting?
A branch of wish fulfilling tree.
Okay. Okay. So all our imaginations are like out of the world, treasure and ghost and okay. So Majid wants to
Genie?
say
A
a
genie?
genie. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, okay. To know what is exactly there, what do we need to do?
Just open it.
Yeah, we
Open.
need to go first. We need to go closer to the box. Sometimes we may get scared. What if there's a bomb inside,
It
right?
can't be because it's already in water.
So,
Yeah.
so the bombs they
True.
diffuse in the water.
Yes, it won't work.
Yes.
Okay. That I didn't know. I thought there are bombs which can, or anyway. Okay.
Because you
So,
mentioned antique box.
all right. Okay. So first we need to do is go closer to the box, right? We go closer to the box and then you open the box and you analyze what's there. So ultimate truth is always going closer to the object, right? So conventionally we all had our own, we imputed our own things, like somebody said this, somebody said that, right? But to really know what is out there, that is conventional analysis. Ultimate analysis. To really know what is out there, ultimately what's there, what is the truth, what is really there inside the box. Oh, okay. What is really there? This pen is made of, right? What is really there? I have to go closer to the pen. Okay, in this case, we are going closer to the box, right? And then what do? You open the box, you analyze, right? And then you find nothing, like Majid said, emptiness, right? Emptiness of pearls, emptiness of gold, emptiness of ghost, emptiness of what did Sangamitraji say? Wish fulfilling tree, right?
Branch of wish fulfilling tree.
Yeah. And Madhuji said emptiness of
Old letters,
old
historic
letters. Yeah,
letters.
historic letters. She's a historian, so okay, from the Second World War, right? So all these whatever you imputed as conventions, these are all, you find the emptiness of that. Only when you go closer, you analyze. So conventional truth, according to this school, is going closer, going into the ultimate analysis and not finding anything. You don't find anything, right? Okay. So in Heart Sutra, actually we don't have much time. Otherwise, I wanted to read the Heart Sutra. Okay, let me see. Okay, let's just read the Heart Sutra after doing the conventional truth and the ultimate truth according to Prasangika. And then after reading the Heart Sutra, you'll come to realize that Buddha really remained silent. Why Buddha really remained silent? Because when you read it, it's just, it goes over your head, right? Okay, let me just open it for you. I'll share the screen.
Ma'am, I had that.
You have it?
Yeah, I have it.
Okay, so those of you who have it, it's very good, but others who don't have it, I'll share it on the screen. And there is a part in Heart Sutra which says form is empty, emptiness is form. Form is not other than emptiness. Emptiness is also not other than form, right? So this pen is form, right? Form is empty. This pen is empty. Emptiness of this pen, emptiness of the objective existence of this pen is form. Okay, this is what it means. So we'll come across that. Let me open it.
Yad Rupam.
Heart Sutra, it's called Arya Bhagavati Pragya Paramita Hriday Sutra. The Perfection of Wisdom Sutra, and it's called Sherab Ningbo in Tibetan. Okay. Okay, so I have it here. Okay, let me just share and then I'll read through it slowly. And those, okay, so you all can pay attention to the words. You may not get the words. You may not get the words, but just see how it is, the truth. Where is it? Okay. Okay, do you see the Heart Sutra? Do you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it says Heart Sutra, Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. Okay, so I'll just read slowly. Okay, so just let me just give a background. So at Rajgir, the Vulture's Peak, if you go to Nalanda, you will, this place is there. It's called the Vulture's Peak. A lot of Buddhists around the world, they come for the pilgrimage. So there, it's believed that Buddha was sitting in meditative concentration. Buddha was immersed in meditation, and there were many bodhisattvas around, right? And by the power of Buddha, it's said through the power of Buddha, Arya Avalokiteshvara, Shariputra. Shariputra is one of Buddha's disciples, root disciples. He asked the question to Arya Avalokiteshvara, saying, okay, so this asked question is here. He asks a question, then the Arya Avalokiteshvara, he gives the answer, right? He gives the answer to Shariputra. And then this is the whole background, and then, okay, you can read. Okay, it says, I prostrate to the Arya triple gem. Triple gem is the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, right? Thus did I hear at one time, the Buddha was dwelling on Mass of Vulture's mountain in Rajgriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at the time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld those 5 aggregates. Remember, we studied 5 aggregates. Also as empty of inherent nature, empty of objective existence, right? Then through the power of Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara: how should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom train? So this is the question asked. He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara said this to Venerable Sharadvati Putra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly. Now see, correctly is the direct valid perception.
Wow.
And repeatedly means the wisdom derived through meditation. So in meditation, you repeatedly meditate on something and it becomes a part of you, right? You habituate in that. So repeatedly beholding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature, empty of objective existence, inherent existence. Okay, now it says form is empty, right? Okay, pen is empty. Pen is empty of what? Pen is not non-existent. Pen is existent, but pen is empty of objective existence. We are not rejecting the pen altogether. We are rejecting the objective existence of the pen. So form is empty. Emptiness of the objective existence is form, right? Emptiness is not other than form. Form is also not other than emptiness. So this is a very, okay, so this is, okay, in the same way, just like form, remember the five aggregates. The first is the form, second is the feeling, right? So in here you can see in the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness, they make up the five aggregates, are empty. This is what Arya Avalokiteshvara is saying to Shariputra. Sorry. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness. Okay, that makes the five aggregates. There's no five aggregates, means no five aggregates means no objectively existent five aggregates. And then they go on to the sense objects, sense organs, like no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind. So they're going into the emptiness now. No visual form. These are the objects of the eye consciousness. No object, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element, and so on up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There's no ignorance. There's no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on up to and including no aging and death and no extinction of aging and death. So why they're saying there's no, this is all within the ultimate domain. When you're doing the analysis, when you're doing the ultimate analysis, when you're in the meditation on emptiness, you don't find any of these. There's no aging, there's no death, there's no extinction of death, aging and death. Similarly, there's no suffering, there's no origination, there's no cessation and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment and also non-attainment. There's no attainment also, there's no Buddhahood also, right? Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, Bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awaken to the unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering should be known as truth, since it is not false. Therefore, the mantra of perfection of wisdom is declared. Tadyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha. So this we studied as the five paths: path of accumulation, path of preparation, path of seeing, path of no meditation, and path of no more learning. So all these five paths were taught here. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Now this is said by Arya Avalokiteshvara to Shariputra. Then the Buddha arose from that concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage. It is like that. So Buddha gave the final, he said, this is what it is. Whatever you said is well said. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom, just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. Okay. The Buddha having thus spoken, the Venerable Shavatpati Putra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding in their entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Buddha. Okay, so this completes the Heart Sutra, right? So this is basically when you're immersed in the meditation, right? You don't find anything. There's no eye, ear, nose. There are no 5 aggregates. There's no sickness. There's no aging. These are all in the ultimate domain. When you're doing the ultimate analysis, in the emptiness, you don't find anything, right? But when you come out of emptiness, this meditation on emptiness, you do find the pen, right? But when you're analyzing, when you go into the ultimate analysis, you don't find any objective existence. So this is the Heart Sutra. So form is empty. Form can be anything. This pen is empty of objective existence, and empty of objective existence of this pen is form. So these two are two sides of the same coin. Remember the relationship I gave between emptiness and dependent origination. So dependent origination is the conventional truth. Dependent origination comes about because of the law of cause and effect, right? So the apple seed comes about after many years. It comes out as apple tree, and that depends on the law of cause and effect, right? It cannot just become an apple tree the very next day, right? So there is dependent origination. But when you look for the apple seed or the apple tree, you do not find the objective existence. It all depends on causes and conditions. When you remove the causes and conditions, you find the emptiness of that object, right? So this is a very profound view, not easy, right? Okay.
Ma'am, here form means physical form.
Form is empty. Form can be any object of your mind. So if you remember the higher schools, Chittamatra and above, they talk about selflessness of person and selflessness of phenomena, right? They talk about the two kinds of selflessness. Okay. Okay, now would you like to jot down the definition of, okay, now we are already short of time. Okay, let me just skip the definitions, or do you want me to?
Please, ma'am. It's too complicated.
Yeah, I think I'll just skip. All right. Okay, now going back to a session on the subjects. Subject has person, consciousness, and labels and terms. I'll just very briefly touch upon it. Okay, so for rest of the schools, most of the schools said the person they defined as the mental consciousness, if you all remember, right? So Swatantrika Madhyamika, sorry, Swatantrika Madhyamika and Chittamatra, even Swatantrika school, they said person is the mental consciousness. Whereas I think Vaibhashika, they asserted on the basis of the 5 aggregates, right? Okay, but this school, their position or their understanding of person is very different, very profound, very subtle. So they say, how do they understand person? So they say the mere I is the person. Okay, do you all get goosebumps when you hear the word mere I?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, it's very subtle. The mere I, just the label I, right?
Yes.
For me, okay, my name is Nilza, so just Nilza is the person, nothing more than that, just the label mere I. There's nothing more. Okay, the mere I, which is imputed on the 5 aggregates. Based on these 5 aggregates, the mere I is imputed. That is the person. Okay, so the person, if you all remember, I'd mentioned earlier, is a non-associated compositional factor. which is neither the mind nor the body. Okay.
Mere I, which is imputed
On the five aggregates as the basis of designation. So the five aggregates are the basis of designation, and based on this base, the basis of designation, the five aggregates, a mere I is imputed. So that is the illustration of a person according to Prasangika school. It's just a label, right? We are just a label. Beyond that label, we don't really exist objectively. But the way we see ourselves as something so solid, right? Something so concrete. And based on that, we have all these emotions of anger, happiness, attachment that arises because we see ourselves as something very solid. We are actually dream-like, not dream, but we are dream-like. So I think I mentioned earlier in one of the classes, my teacher, he often used to tell us, even at the time when you're bathing, when you're taking bath, we have this sense of I is so strong. Just try to reflect when you're taking bath. You have this sense of, okay, I'm so clean. My body is so clean now. I feel so fresh. That is an illusion, actually, right? So this is the advice given by my teacher. This is more to do with the practice, right? So when you're trying to really assimilate all these teachings into your daily lives, when you're taking bath, this sense of feeling very clean, your body being very clean, and then you feel so fresh, and you feel, okay, you take bath and you come out, you don't want to touch on a dirty surface, which otherwise you would have just sat on. Otherwise, if before taking bath you would have sat on it thinking it's very clean, but after you take bath you won't even want to touch it, right, with your fingertips. So because you have this very strong sense of your body being so clean, which is a deception, right? So for that moment, okay, in the ordinary world, we have to accept these conventionalities. We go for an interview, we go take bath and go very fresh, right? So these things we don't have to undermine. We don't have to say that, okay, I'm studying Prasangika view, so I can go with my dirty, clothes on. And so these things, we have to respect the conventionalities, but at the same time, we have to be aware of the reality, right? So this very strong sense of I, our body. So, okay, at five aggregates, the form aggregate, which is the first, is the physical form, the body. At the time of bathing, we feel we are very clean and very, fresh, this very strong sense of I based on this form aggregate. So likewise, our mind as well, right? So we are nothing but a mere I, just a label I. So this person is labeled as just a mere I. Okay, then we go on to consciousness. Consciousness also, we talk about the direct prime cognition, the direct valid perceiver, and the non-prime cognition, non-valid perceiver. So this is what okay, so there are very, okay, I won't go very deep into all this.
But what we put about consciousness, what should I write?
Consciousness, most of the schools, they talk about the direct valid prime cognition and non-prime cognition, or direct valid perceiver and non valid perceiver.
Here also.
Yes. But then we need to make a distinction between types of direct valid perceiver, where some schools they accept the non self-cognizant mind and some schools they reject. So Prasangika, they reject the self-cognizant mind. They don't accept this self-cognizant mind to be one of the direct valid perceivers. And okay, so I won't go into deep. Okay, then assertion on the paths. Assertion on the paths, we have objects of the path, objects to be abandoned by the path, and nature of the path. So I'll just briefly share. Okay. So what are the objects of the path? What are the things that one needs to meditate on, right? Objects of the path, which is the first of the assertion on the path. Okay, so what is unique about Prasangika school? Okay, now if you all remember the 5 levels of emptiness, right? Emptiness of autonomous, permanent, unitary, independent self. Second is emptiness of autonomous substantial reality. Okay, let me repeat. Emptiness of permanent, unitary, independent self. Emptiness of autonomous substantial reality. Emptiness of external reality. Emptiness of true existence while not rejecting objective existence or intrinsic existence, and the last, emptiness of objective existence, intrinsic existence, or ultimate existence. Okay, so when we have all these in mind, these 5 levels of emptiness, okay, the other schools, all the other schools after Chittamatra and above, Chittamatra and Swatantrika Madhyamika, these 2 schools, they talk about selflessness of phenomena, selflessness of person, right? 2. While the lower schools, Vaibhashika and Swatantrika, they only accept selflessness of person. They don't talk about selflessness of phenomena. This we need to keep in mind. Now for Chittamatra and Swatantrika Madhyamika, selflessness of person, there are 2, gross and subtle. Okay, this, if you can jot it down, will be helpful. Okay, for Chittamatra, okay, now let's say Chittamatra has selflessness of person, selflessness of phenomena. Within selflessness of person, Chittamatra talks about 2, gross and subtle. So for Chittamatra, what is the gross selflessness of person? It's the first level, emptiness of the permanent, unitary, independent self. That's the gross selflessness of person. And the subtle selflessness of person is the emptiness of autonomous substantial reality. Okay, we are done with the selflessness of person. Now selflessness of phenomena, according to Chittamatra school, is emptiness of external reality. That is selflessness of phenomena, according to Chittamatra. Emptiness of external reality. They reject external reality. Okay, have you all got it? Now, according to Swatantrika Madhyamika, okay, if you've missed anything, let me know. Have you all got it? Okay. Now, going to Swatantrika Madhyamika school, again, they talk of the selflessness of person and selflessness of phenomena. So, selflessness of person, again, 2, gross and subtle. It's the same as Chittamatra. It's the same as Chittamatra. And selflessness of person, phenomena, Swatantrika Madhyamika, for them, it is emptiness of true existence, while not rejecting ultimate existence or objective existence. Sorry, emptiness of true existence while not rejecting objective existence, right? or self-characteristic? Okay, any confusions until here? Yes? No? No confusions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, now we'll do, okay, what does Prasangika say? Prasangika's position is very different from the other schools, right? Now Prasangika, they say, okay, Prasangika also has selflessness of person, selflessness of phenomena too. They talk about selflessness of person, selflessness of phenomena. Now again, selflessness of person, they talk about two, gross and subtle, but they're not same as Chittamatra and Swatantrika Madhyamika. For them, the gross selflessness of person is the emptiness of autonomous substantial reality. That is the gross one. Whereas for the other schools, that's the subtle selflessness of person. And what is the subtle selflessness of person according to Prasangika school? Emptiness of objective existence of person. Okay, don't forget to write emptiness of objective existence of person. You have to qualify the person there because we are talking about selflessness of person. Okay, I'll just repeat. According to Prasangika, gross selflessness of person is emptiness of autonomous substantial reality, and subtle selflessness of person is emptiness of objective existence of person. Right? Okay, now what is selflessness of phenomena according to Prasangika view, Prasangika philosophy is emptiness of objective existence of phenomena other than the person. Emptiness of objective existence of phenomena other than the person. That is the selflessness of phenomena for Prasangika. Have you all got the terms? Okay, now another very important thing you can make a note there. For Prasangika school, subtle selflessness of person and the selflessness of phenomena, they are the same. There's no difference. So basically, selflessness of person and selflessness of phenomena for Prasangika school, they are equal, the same thing. It's the same for them. In terms of subtlety, right? In terms of subtlety, they are same. Whereas for other schools, other two schools, Chittamatra and Swatantrika Madhyamika, the selflessness of phenomena is much subtler. It's subtler than the selflessness of person. Whereas for Prasangika school, the selflessness of person and selflessness of phenomena, they are the same in terms of subtlety. This is a very important point. So these are the objects they need to meditate on, the Prasangika followers, right? Prasangika philosophy adherents, they meditate on these objects. So, okay. Okay, so what are the objects to be abandoned by the path? The second point under assertion on the path. So what are the things that they need to abandon to finally reach the goal, the result, the resultant state? So again, we go back to the afflictive obscuration and cognitive obscuration. Okay, so one thing I should correct, one thing I should apologize for. I think in one of the previous classes, I had mentioned something about, I don't know how many of you have jotted it down. Okay, so I'd mentioned that on the eighth bhumi, one gets rid of the cognitive obscuration, right? So there's a slight, okay, so there's a slight change. It's not that they get completely rid of cognitive obscuration. That's not the connotation or understanding. So what I meant is on the 8th bhumi, Bodhisattva bhumi, on the 8th Bodhisattva bhumi, okay, a Bodhisattva practitioner, they will start getting rid of the cognitive obscuration. And on the 8th bhumi, the afflictive obscuration is completely uprooted for the Bodhisattva practitioners. On the 8th bhumi, of the 10 bhumis, on the 8th bhumi, afflictive obscuration is completely gotten rid of or eradicated on the 8th bhumi. And then from the 8th bhumi to the 10th bhumi, the cognitive obscuration is starts getting cleansed, right? The practitioner starts getting rid of cognitive obscuration from 8th bhumi onto the 10th bhumi. Okay, this is something we should remember.
Acharya Shantideva's Dashabhumika Sutra, they are described. Yeah.
Yes. Acharya Shantideva, the story that I mentioned yesterday.
7th century.
Yes. Okay. All right. So the objects to be abandoned by the path is these two: afflictive obscuration and cognitive obscuration. The practitioner has to get rid of these two obscurations to finally attain the result. And the nature of the path is again the 5 paths, right? The 5 paths, and the Bodhisattva path, you have the 10 grounds, Bodhisattva bhumis. So these are the nature of the path, and the result is, okay, the result again, what I mentioned now. On the 8th bhumi, you completely get rid of afflictive obscuration, and the cognitive obscuration starts to you start getting rid of the cognitive obscuration only from the 8th ground onwards, 8th bhumi onwards. Okay, so one thing we need to make a distinction here is Prasangika school, they say that afflictive obscuration and cognitive obscuration, they have to get rid of these two obscurations sequentially, right? Sequentially means one after the other. Whereas Swatantrika Madhyamika, they say that you can get rid of these obscurations simultaneously. So there are different views between the two schools of Madhyamika, right? So Prasangika is saying that only when you get rid of afflictive obscuration, only then you can start getting rid of cognitive obscuration. Until then, you cannot even touch cognitive obscuration. This is Prasangika's view, right? So only after the 8th bhumi, when you are finally completely rid of the afflictive obscuration, only then you can start getting rid of the cognitive obscuration. Otherwise, you cannot. Whereas
Step by step.
Yes?
Step by step, not...
Yes, step by step. According to Prasangika school. Swatantrika Madhyamika school, they say it can happen simultaneously. The two obscurations, you can get rid of them simultaneously. Right? Okay. And okay, so do you have any questions?
But the result of the path is Buddhahood, or not here?
Yes, Buddhahood, of course.
Okay. Can you later please share on the group the definitions of conventional and ultimate?
Yes, I'll
so
do
we
that.
Can write it, because definition is always good to.
I don't want to scare the people.
Yeah, I know. But always when we have doubts, definition is a good source to
But
look
this,
at.
okay. So what I'll do is, let me just read out the definition now. Right?
You don't need to do that if you don't want. Just share on the group.
No,
Don't
because
worry.
if I share on the group, there are, I think, some 50, 60 people on the group.
No, ma'am, there are not 50, 60.
Yes.
There might be 20 people in the group. WhatsApp group.
Yeah, WhatsApp group. Last time I saw about 50, 60 people.
No.
I don't know, maybe if they've... Yeah, there are 62 participants here, it seems.
Really? And all of them are not around 52 more. Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so
yes, ma'am. You're right.
So many of them are not attending.
Correct, ma'am.
I
Yes,
just
ma'am. Not needed.
Okay, so how many of you want me to share the definition?
Ma'am, maybe you can share it on the screen and we can take a screenshot.
Me, ma'am. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. We can take a screenshot.
Okay, why don't you note it down? It's just 4-5 lines, right?
Yeah, I noted down from the audio recording of yours.
Okay. All right. Definition of conventional truth.
Yes, ma'am. An object found by a valid
cognition. An object found by a valid cognition.
Found? An object found?
By a valid cognition. An object found by a valid cognition, comma. Comma, which analyzes conventions. Which means conventional analysis, which analyzes conventions. An object found by a valid cognition, comma, which analyzes conventions, comma, and with respect to which the valid cognition analyzing the conventions and with respect to which the valid cognition analyzing the conventions becomes a valid cognition analyzing conventions. Okay, I'll repeat from the beginning. An object found by a valid cognition, comma, which analyzes conventions, comma, and with respect to which the valid cognition analyzing the conventions becomes a valid cognition analyzing conventions. A vase is an illustration. A flower vase.
Ma'am, can you repeat the last line?
Yes. Okay, so I'll repeat from the beginning. Okay. An object found by a valid cognition, comma, which analyzes conventions, comma, and with respect to which the valid cognition analyzing the conventions becomes a valid cognition analyzing conventions. Okay, have you all got all the words? Okay, is there anyone who's missed? Okay, a flower vase is an illustration. Okay, don't worry, there's a repetition of valid cognition analyzing conventions. It's nothing but what we discussed, right? So what is conventional truth? Anything which is seen by the mind, anything which is existent, right? Anything which is seen by the mind, like the rainbow or the mirage, these are all conventional truths. But they're all 100% coming from the subject. This we need to keep in mind. According to Prasangika school, even this conventional truth, there's no self-characteristic. Yesterday, I had asked you to note down 2 lines, the difference between Swatantrika Madhyamika and Prasangika Madhyamika. So Swatantrika Madhyamika, they reject self-characteristic only on the ultimate level. They accept self-characteristic on the conventional level. Whereas Prasangika school, they reject self-characteristic on both levels, ultimate level as well as conventional level. So they say even on the conventional level, everything is purely subjective. So the rainbow is there, they do accept the rainbow, which is a valid mind. but it's purely subjective, like the rainbow or the mirage, right? Whereas Swatantrika Madhyamika would say the rainbow has 50% objectivity. That's how these two schools differ. Okay, so any mind which analyzes the conventions, right? Any mind which sees the conventions, that is conventional truth. The definition, there's a lot of repetition. I'm sure there's technicalities to it, but as long as you understand the meaning, it's fine. Okay, now definition of ultimate truth. An object found by a valid cognition which analyzes the ultimate. Comma, and with respect to which the valid cognition analyzing the ultimate becomes a valid cognition analyzing the ultimate. So you can just replace the conventions with ultimate. It's the same definition, right? An object found by a valid cognition which analyzes the ultimate, comma, and with respect to which the valid cognition analyzing the ultimate becomes a valid cognition analyzing the ultimate. Okay. So though Prasangikas, they say everything is 100% from the mind, from subjectively, existing subjectively, they make a huge difference between what is imagined, right? What is imagined and what is existent, like this pen and the imaginary pen. How, in terms of the efficacy of the cause-effect relationship, right? So what is the beauty about Prasangika view is they accept everything in this world. Everything that exists, they accept, they respect everything. They never reject anything, existence of anything. At the same time, they say it's all dreamlike. It's not really there. So this is a very subtle wisdom where this wisdom will help us to combat the subtlest of our ignorance, which is why the school is the final intent of the Buddha. Because Buddha's final intent is that we attain 100% happiness, right? To attain the 100% happiness, we need the 100%, the very subtlest of the wisdom to combat the subtlest of the ignorance. Okay, so one more thing I need to add. Okay, so we did conventional truth and the ultimate truth according to this school. Now, according to this school, okay, so this is one is the object. I see the emptiness of this pen. And the mind, my mind is imputing the pen, 100% mental imputation, right? Subjectively, this pen comes into existence, 100% subjective. Okay, now there's meditation further. You don't stop there. You see the emptiness of this pen. You also see the emptiness of this mind looking at the pen. So the emptiness of the object and this emptiness of the subject, these two combined together, that level of realization is too profound. It's just unfathomable, right? It cannot be put into words what it's like, emptiness of both the subject and the object. So that's the ultimate intent of the Buddha. So even this mind, which is analyzing the convention, even the mind is empty of objectivity, right? Okay, actually, okay, so what I had mentioned yesterday, I thought the director could join us on Friday, no, Saturday. But then looks like the director is quite not feeling too good. So he's still in Delhi resting. So one of the office colleagues, he said that he would talk to the examination in charge, and let's see what they say. Maybe some official would join the class on the last day. If not, then on Saturday, I would like to share some of the extracts from the Buddhist texts, and then I'll try to just relate it to, most of them are related to the Prasangika view, right? Some very important extracts from the sutras and shastras. So we'll do those small stanzas, and then I'll share a little bit on meditation, like, what are the points we need to keep in mind. Not that I meditate regularly. I'm just going to repeat what I hear from my teachers. I heard from my teachers. So I'll just share so that people amongst the audience, if you're interested in doing some practice, then I'll just share the points, right? So that you benefit. Okay, so Saturday we'll do that. And with this, we have very briefly touched upon Tenet system, which took us about like 20 classes, I guess, 21 classes of 1.5 hours each, right? So anyway, so I just hope that you all continue to delve into these subjects, though they are very technical. And the fact that all of you have so enthusiastically, with so much joy, you attend the classes, because one thing about this class, one thing very special about this class is, this is at universities, you have to come to class, right? You have to sit for exams because you want a degree to get a job. So there, the agenda is very different most of the time. There may be some students who do it out of sheer interest, but most of us, when we go to universities, we want to get good marks and good degree, like good score. But this class is completely purely out of your own will, right? And here you, okay, so one thing is my responsibility is, since you've all given so much effort and dedication, I have to speak to the director to directly give you all the certificate, right? So that is the least I can do for you all, because otherwise,
thank you very
yes,
much.
but I don't know how much the director would agree, but I'll try my best, because
Okay.
I do feel your conviction in doing this course very diligently. So if possible, we'll try to get you the certificates directly, and without having to go through. Maybe you'll have to do the exam, maybe, but anyhow, so I'll look into that. And okay, so I appreciate all your patience, and if there's any mistake, right, because I'm also a samsaric being, I am prone to make mistakes. So if I have made any mistakes, it's purely my problem, right? Because I keep quoting my teacher, Yeshidorji Damrullah, I learned from him. So those are not from him. The mistakes are not from him. They're purely from my side, right? So, all right. So I'll see you all on Saturday. Okay, sorry, Rizana Mullah's question. Okay, it's already 5
Yes,
p.m. I had kept your question because you had gone offline or you were not audible. Yes, Rizna Mullah, sorry. Okay, for those of you who have other engagements, you can leave the class. And Rizna Mullah, if you want me to clarify
yes,
your
ma'am. Direct valid perception and the non-mistaken direct perception, difference between the both.
Direct valid perception and non-mistaken
direct perception.
Okay, direct valid perception and non-mistaken direct
perception.
Direct perception. Okay. Okay, direct valid perception and non-mistaken, there's no difference. Direct, when you say direct perception, Direct perception, there are two kinds, mistaken and non-mistaken, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's one direct perception and conceptual mind. Okay, so let me make the distinction. Direct perception means where your mind, the subject, is directly in touch with the object.
Yes, ma'am.
Direct perception. Direct perception versus conceptual mind. In conceptual mind, your mind is not directly in touch with the object. You have to use a generic image.
Mm-hmm.
So direct perception versus conceptual mind. Okay, so we have to make the distinction. Direct perception versus conceptual mind. So within direct perception, there are two, mistaken and non-mistaken. Mistaken direct perception and non-mistaken direct perception. So mistaken is the example that you gave. You see a coil of rope to be a snake. So that is a direct perception, but that is mistaken. Do you get it? And
yes, ma'am.
non-mistaken is when you see, okay, when you see this pen to be a pen, that is a non-mistaken direct perception. But if you use the term direct valid perception, it's same as non-mistaken direct perception.
Okay.
Okay, now keeping that aside, keeping that understanding aside, we need to go a little deeper. Okay, if you go a little deeper into it, then again, direct valid perception, again, are of two types. One is the direct valid perception of the Buddhas and the direct valid perception of the ordinary beings, right? So if I say this is a pen, we are all ordinary beings. We say this is a pen. It's objectively existent according to, let's say, Sautantrika school, the second school, or Vaibhashika school. They all accept objective existence. So for them, this is a valid perception, direct valid perception. Whereas a Buddha, the Buddha who adheres to the Prasangika view, they reject this direct. They say this is invalid. This is not valid. This seeing this pen to be objectively existent, it's invalid. Do you get the difference?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So that's mean there is no difference between direct perception and non-mistaken direct perception, right?
There is a difference. There is a difference if you use direct perception and non-mistaken direct perception. There's a difference because direct perception also has two, mistaken and non-mistaken. But if you say direct valid perception, then it's same as non-mistaken direct perception.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, any other questions? Okay. Okay. Madhuji has given a suggestion in the group, and that's very true, Madhuji. Even I've been feeling the real need to have a dictionary or at least a classification, the Tibetan, Sanskrit, English words. So we'll try to work on that. Thank you. Okay, then I'll see you all on Saturday. Thank you.
Merry
Bye-bye.
Christmas to
Oh,
Beatrice.
Merry Christmas, Beatrice.
Thank you.
Have a lovely
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas to
Merry
you all.
Christmas.
A lot of happiness to you and peace.
Yeah. Thank you to you all. Well, you don't have Christmas, but it's the same. The wishes are the same for all of
We are with you. We will
Thank
enjoy
you.
and
Thank
celebrate
you.
with you.
All right.
Have a very peaceful evening. Thank you
Yes,
for
thank
you
you.
all. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you,
Bye
Nilsa,
bye.
for your patience, your knowledge.
Oh
You
no, thank you for your
have done a
patience.
lot for us. No, you have done a lot for us. Really, really. It was very appreciated. Very, very. I'm
Thank
so
you.
really
Thank
happy,
you.
and I think we all are. Yeah. Thank you
Thank
very
you. Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Tashidele.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
You.